recorded. And admitting just the last final people. Okay, one last person said master's program in tourism, hospitality, and events management, School of Business. Great. Okay, so we will go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. My name is Erin Ahart. I'm one of two career counselors serving all graduate students in the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. We are so excited to bring this presentation to you. It's called Effective Job Searching with ChatGPT. We created this workshop in response to needs that we've heard from students and faculty. A lot of students have shared with us that you just want to know where to start with the job search. Are you missing a step? Are you doing everything right? And also, we want to make sure that we're using all of the new technology and tools that are available to us, so that way we're keeping up with competition. And because using Gen AI like ChatGPT can help us streamline the job search process and make things a little bit easier and speed up the job search process too. So with that, to share a little bit more about me and my background. Again, my name is Erin Ahart. I have my master's degree in higher education and student affairs. Again, I'm a career counselor, one of two, serving all Columbian College graduate students here at GW. Outside of my full-time role, I also host a career advice podcast. And so one of my passions is really thinking about the best ways that I can communicate career content to you all who are needing it. And the people who I love to work with the most are, of course, GW students, and especially professionals who are navigating the transition from college and university life to going into industry or academia. So please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can always schedule a one-on-one appointment with me on Handshake. But I am just one half of our amazing CCAS Graduate Career Services team. I'm also joined by Dr. Johnette Ruffner-Caesar. And Johnette, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. We are so very happy that you are here for this very informative session. I am Johnette Ruffner-Caesar, the other half of the Career Services team. I have been with GW for a little over a year now. I have a background in education, higher ed administration, and education nonprofit work. In addition to working part-time here at GW, I also own a professional services agency where I support mid to senior level career women. And so my specialty really lies within career transitioning and professional branding. So very happy that you all are here to join us.
Awesome. And one thing I did forget to mention is that this workshop is just one piece of our larger career readiness workshop series. So in both the fall and spring semesters, Johnette and I both host career readiness workshops throughout the entire academic year. And so I'll share a couple more of those workshops that we've hosted and that are coming up throughout this meeting today. So in today's workshop, you will learn a lot of things, but our goals are to help you define your unique job search goals and understand how to determine what your job search deal breakers and nice to haves are. You will gain tips and tricks for finding positions that are a match for your skills, interests, values, and experiences. You'll learn how to simplify the application process and create versatile application materials, and you will become a master of ChatGPT in using it to help tailor your resume and cover letter for each job. So where do we start when it comes to the job search, right? We have to start with defining our job search goals. This is the thing that I see people make the biggest mistake with. A lot of people turn right to Indeed or LinkedIn or Handshake and just immediately start applying to jobs that seem interesting to them in the moment. But you really want to be intentional, and we'll talk all about why in just a second. So, what are some goals of the job search? Yes, of course, to find a job, but what kind of job, right? To find a job with more responsibilities, and that would be a career advancement, to obtain a higher salary, to find a job that better aligns with your values and your culture preferences, to find a job that you're truly passionate about, to find a job that will sponsor your visa if you're an international student. Maybe you want a complete career shift altogether. Your goals can be a combination of these things. It can be things that are not on the screen here, but it's really important to get clear on why you're job searching in the first place. Now, step one would really be to know yourself, but in this presentation, we're calling it step two. So after you have started to think about, okay, why am I job searching? Why am I here? Before we even dive into that, I want to encourage you to take a minute and think about who you are as a person and a professional, because knowing yourself will help you to make sure that you're choosing the right job search goals for you. And you want to choose the right job search goals because depending on what your goals are, what you value, that's going to change how you go about the job search process itself. If your goal is to obtain the highest salary possible versus if your goal is to work for a company that really aligns with your values that you hold true for yourself, the way you job search is going to be different. And so I would encourage you, no matter what stage you are in knowing yourself as a person and a professional, to just quickly go through this VIPS analysis. VIPS stands for values, personality, skills, and interests. So your values are most important things for you to have in life, right? Maybe it's working from home, having a stable income, which would mean a salaried position, working for a company that celebrates your identities. Your interests are the things that you enjoy doing, the tasks that give you energy throughout the day. This is likely related to your current program. So this could be data analysis, exhibition design, even helping clients solve a specific problem. Your personality is your style and your way of doing things. So, do you like working independently or as part of a team? Do you want to work for a small company or a large company, for a corporation or a nonprofit? Do you want a leadership role, or do you really find fulfillment in being the person who is executing the tasks that are already put out for you? And then finally, what are your skills? This is most likely the thing that is making up the bulk of your resume. What do you offer this company, and what are you good at? Is it coding, research, design, strategy, communication? These are, again, all of the qualifications, skills, and experiences on your resume. If you're making a career change or making a big career shift, maybe you're open to a lot of different positions, please don't skip this step if this is you. I think we all should be doing this and reminding ourselves what our values, personality, skills, and interests are on a regular basis. But especially if you are making a career shift, please don't skip this step. So once you have a list and you have gotten to know yourself a little bit better, you can use your values, interests, personality, and skills to then make more informed decisions about what your career goals are. So based on your VIPs, think about what kind of job do you want and make a list from there. So you can reference my slide before, the goals of the job search. You will receive the recording of this presentation and you will receive a PDF document version of all of the slides. So you can click on the links that I've inserted throughout. But make a list. And you'll see on the right side of the screen here, we have things that you might remind you of filters that you see in job search engines. The location, the designation, which the designation means is it remote, hybrid, or fully in person? The title and the salary, the job description, making sure that the tasks that are outlined in the job description are in alignment with your interests, skills. Company mission and values, company culture, benefits, company size and team. There are so many other things that I could not fit into one slide that you might be thinking are something you're looking for in your future job. But make sure that whatever is on your list, you're keeping this list with you as you search for jobs, or at least keeping it top of mind. So that way you make sure you're staying focused on what you really want. I know that it can be really overwhelming if you're new to the job search, you're exploratory, you're not really sure what roles you're looking for yet. I know with that VIPS analysis and making a list, it can be overwhelming. And so That's where Johnette and I come in. We are your partners in helping you find jobs that are a match for you, and starting this process of self-reflection. So if you're not sure what you're looking for, please schedule an appointment with Dr. Ruffner Caesar or myself. So I shared that I would go into why it's important to know yourself and know your job search goals. The reason why is because quality is so much more effective, efficient, and just so much more important than quantity when it comes to the job search. The reason why is because modern technology, especially generative AI, it has made the job search congested. It's made it so much more competitive. We have the freedom and the ability to apply to so many more jobs than we could have in the past. So you're much more likely to be considered for an interview and stand out from your competition when you apply for positions that are the right fit for you, and your genuine interest in that position will also shine through in your application. I think it's really tempting to apply to every job that you see that is remotely close to what you're looking for, especially if you're desperate to find a job. And I've been there, I totally get it. But that puts you in the boat of just wanting to get job applications out there, maybe only submitting your resume instead of submitting a resume and a cover letter. And that's a dangerous place to be because, again, you want to be intentional. You want to maximize your time since the job search is a long and strenuous process sometimes. So, the second point on the screen is to submit a tailored resume and a cover letter for every position you apply for. If you're not willing to put in the work for a specific job, it's not worth applying for. And if that seems like a hefty task, it seems like a lot to tailor your resume and cover letter to every position, stay tuned because that's what we're talking about in the rest of this presentation. Um, Also, to finish out our conversation about finding jobs before we get into how to use search engines, how to job search effectively, something else that I know is overwhelming is that in the job search, you are being asked to constantly make decisions about which jobs you should apply for. It's a lot of evaluation, and if you are crunched for time, you currently have a full-time job, you're a working professional, maybe you have a family or dependents at home, getting these job applications out is a lot, and so you're constantly having to make decisions about which ones you should focus on. Some of you will be able to identify your deal breakers and your nice to haves right off the bat. On your list of everything that you've decided is important to you, you'll be able to easily star or underline your deal breakers. And now, for people who don't know what their deal breakers are, or you want a little bit more structure, I put this matrix on the screen. But your deal breakers is something that you really want to identify and get familiar with because that's going to be the most helpful thing in helping you decide which jobs to apply for. So this decision matrix is not for everyone. It's very formulaic. You're using numbers to kind of assign a value to what things you hold important to you in the job search. But for some people, it's helpful. And so I wanted to add it into this presentation today. I'm calling it Anthony's Decision Matrix because my friend Anthony is an engineer for a medical device company. He makes medical devices. And as an engineer, you are constantly having to reevaluate and reassess, change little things about your product or your prototype. And so this matrix can be helpful with making all kinds of decisions. The way it works is you have your list of things that you're considering, your location, benefits, salary, mission and vision, mission and values, all of those things that you're considering when you're going about your job search. Some of those things are more important to you than others. And so once you make a list of all of these things, the way this matrix works is you assign a value on a scale of 1 to 10, or a weight to each of these things that you're considering. You'll see on the screen this engineering decision matrix graphic from another company, Square Engineering Group. What they're considering is customer pain, design time, development time, and training time. But you'll see there's a weight to each thing. So if your components are location, benefits, mission and values, and salary, you're going to put a weight out of 10, which is most important. Then for each job that you come across in your job search, you can assign a rating to how much you like what you see on that page. So if the location, if it would be an hour and a half to drive to that job from your home, Your rating is probably going to be a 1 or a 2 out of 10, and then go through each thing accordingly and rate them. Then what you can do is you can multiply your rating and your weighted score and your weight to get a weighted score, add those up and see what the total score is for this job that you're considering applying to. So that may seem like a lot of work. When you get in the habit of it, if you like this formula, it can be quick, it can be really helpful. It's up to you to decide what your threshold is, what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. But the idea is that the higher your score in this decision matrix, the happier you would be in that job. So just something extra to think about. Again, it's not going to work for everybody. And the last thing I want you all to be thinking about as you go through your job search, I'm often getting the question from students, should I apply? Am I qualified for this job? If you're not sure if you should bother applying, there's this thing, it's the 80% rule. If you have 80% of the required qualifications, you should absolutely apply, and that's known across the board. But even if you are making a career transition, even if you only have 60 to 70% of what they're looking for, if you see that job description and you know, I can do that job. With a little bit of learning, I can definitely do that job. I bring other diverse experience to the table, and you're super excited about the position, then you should also absolutely apply to that job too. Don't reject yourself before they even have the chance to review your application. Okay, so step 3, finding positions. This is the how-to of the job search. So, searching for jobs, what tools and methods can you use? There are so many tools out there. And so I've kind of divided them up through in-person and online ways to conduct your job search. In person, job fairs and networking events are probably the most popular. We have our annual, or I guess every semester this happens, our Career Exploration Expo that is put on by the Maine Center for Career Services. This semester, that is on February 28th. In the past, about 65 to 70 employers have come from all over the area and all different industries. And that's where recruiters talk to students, and anyone in the GW community. Alumni can attend too, faculty can attend. I think staff can attend as well. You would just go through and figure out which employers you're interested in, dress professionally, come prepared to talk to them about what your skills and strengths are, come prepared with your elevator speech, and talk to recruiters in person at that fair. You can also attend other networking events. These come in all shapes and sizes. GW hosts so many networking events, sometimes even with specific companies, and you can go through all of these on Handshake to see what's available to you. And then job ads. So these are billboards and help wanted signs. I just threw these on there because they exist. They're probably not going to be helpful to you all and the jobs that I tend to see GW students going for. They're most common for blue collar jobs. So when I used to work in recruiting and human resources, I would call around to different billboards and ask them what their rates were to see how we could advertise positions. And so yeah, I would advertise for the global chemical company that I worked for mechanics and machinists in the warehouse. So, yes, you may not utilize job ads that much. I would go for job fairs and networking events. Online is everything else. That's the most common ways that people search for positions is online. So we'll come back to job search engines in just a minute. Handshake, LinkedIn, and Indeed. These are the biggest ways that you are searching for jobs. Let's hit some of the other ways that you might not think about as often. Job boards and email lists. These are so underutilized. Um, they can be super helpful, but not only helpful to you, but helpful to employers because these are more specialized. They can be focused on industry, by identities. There are job boards for stay-at-home moms who are looking to get full or part-time jobs that give them a work-life balance. So I'll show you on the next slide a couple of the job boards that are out there, but they're helpful in helping employers connect with the right talent in a very niche pool. Email lists, a lot of times a job board and an email list, they can come from the same website. They might be the same thing. So you can get alerts from a job board by signing up for that website's newsletter or that email list, and they'll tell you about all the job openings that are on that job board. So here are some that I found when I was doing my research for this presentation. The top one that says work remotely from anywhere. This is from a job board called Jobspresso, expertly curated remote jobs in tech, marketing, customer support, and more. Idealist, that's nonprofit jobs. It's one of the biggest nonprofit job boards out there. Um, Another one, it looks like the title got cut off, but it's the latest tech jobs personalized for you. Well Found is where startups and job seekers connect. You'll see the Mother Untitled, that's the resource for ambitious women leaning into family life. And then the Black Career Women's Network, your next level starts here. It's a national organization dedicated to supporting the professional growth of Black women by aligning career strategies, professional growth, and workplace mastery for success. So again, there are so many job boards out there. You can even use ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT what job boards are available for careers in tech, and it'll give you a list. It looks like we have something in the chat. Okay, just another person joining us, Masters in Philosophy and Social Policy. Great. Okay. Next is professional associations. This is another one of my favorite ways that I show students for searching for jobs. Your professional association will likely have a job board. It will also likely have a directory of members in that professional association. So when you are networking, because networking is something you are constantly doing, not just at the time when you need a job, but you're doing it throughout your career, I really encourage you to look at the directory in your professional association for your industry and see who you can reach out to, see where they work, see where those connections could be helpful to you. Okay. LinkedIn industry contacts and referrals, online networking. We have another workshop and a recording for that workshop. It's called Working Your Professional Network. And so if you're interested in that workshop, we go all into how to work your network, how to reach out to people, and how to ask for help from them while also offering value to your professional connections. Headhunters, agency recruiters, and internal recruiters. I haven't worked much with headhunters and agency recruiters. I really have loved my experiences working with internal recruiters, though. Internal recruiters are recruiters who work for one specific company, and I really like working for them because they care about long-term return on investment. These are the people who you're meeting at in-person job fairs, for example, the Career Exploration Expo. They're working at the tables. Those are the people you're coming up to and approaching. They want to get you interested in the company they work for, and they genuinely care about your alignment with them and retaining quality talent. They have a direct investment in your success at their company. They also tend to have a connection to young professionals because these are the ones who are working at job fairs. They're used to young professionals also being nervous, young professionals who are new to the job market and the job search process. And again, it's really in their best interest to make sure that you are the best fit for the role. You can also do a company first search. So instead of using job search engines like we'll talk about in just a minute, if your goal is to find a company that is aligned with your values, who offers you work-life balance, you more care about the company culture, how you're going to be treated at that company, then doing a company first search could really work for you. You can compile a list of different companies that you're interested in, use Glassdoor to see what current employees are saying about that company, whether they like working there. Glassdoor is also a great resource to see what interview questions people were asked when they interviewed for roles at that company. And you can use ChatGPT again to compile a list of companies that have a certain mission or goal. So if you're really interested in the climate crisis and doing research on climate change and impacts, then ChatGPT can help you compile a list of companies that will allow you to do that kind of work or that supports that mission. Okay, so moving on to job search engines, what you all are probably waiting for. These are just the pros and cons in this table I made of the top three that you're probably using. Handshake is great because it is for students. It has a small to medium number of opportunities, but it's great because employers and recruiters who use the platform have to manually check off which students at which universities they want their job postings to be available to. And so that tells you if you even see or come across a job posting on Handshake, that employer is interested in learning more and potentially hiring you. There could be limited opportunities available for some majors. Um, so it's just really just depends on which recruiters use the platform. And you'll see that for all of these platforms, Handshake, LinkedIn, and Indeed, find the opportunities there. But if you really want to go the extra mile and take the extra step, apply on the company website whenever possible. So I recently learned from a career YouTuber who is a recruiter that there could be one ATS system that a company uses to look at all of their applications for a certain job. But that company is probably recruiting on ZipRecruiter, Indeed, LinkedIn, maybe Handshake, and also on their company website. You can apply on all of those places. But before the recruiter sees your application, the website is the most direct way to apply for a job. Indeed and LinkedIn, they're kind of the middleman in between the recruiter, the person reviewing applications, and you applying for it. Whereas the website cuts right through all of that and dumps it right into the ATS system right away. This particular person shared that sometimes he noticed that it took 1 to 2 days for applications that were from Indeed and LinkedIn to populate in their ATS system where they could actually go through the resumes and pull up everyone's applications at once. So just something to think about. I prefer applying on the company website. On LinkedIn, you have a medium to large number of opportunities. I love LinkedIn because everything is on one platform. The job postings, you can click on the company LinkedIn page right away to learn more about them. You can see who works there. It has networking capabilities too. You can reach out to recruiters. With LinkedIn, you really need to know the tips and tricks to make LinkedIn work for you. So there's a little bit more of a learning curve there. With Indeed, you have the largest number of opportunities in the world. So if a job is out there, it's likely that it's posted on Indeed. It's a catch-all for every posting imaginable. With that, you have the potential to waste time finding misaligned opportunities and scrolling through tons and tons of opportunities. That's where filters will come into play and help you, but just something to think about. Okay, so getting started and making these job search engines work for you. If you are serious, you're going hard into the paint looking for a job, you really should complete your profile in full for each job search platform that you're using. So I am not job searching right now. I logged into my profile on Indeed for the first time in a while. And so when I pulled it up, I saw that Indeed wanted me to update my qualifications, update my job preferences, and my active resume on Indeed was from 2021. So if I were job searching, I would definitely need to update that right away. You want to make sure that this profile is filled out in full on Indeed, LinkedIn, and Handshake because most people think that job search engines are a way for you to find jobs. It's also a way for employers to find you. So employers and recruiters using these platforms can message you and reach out to you if they see a qualification or something on your resume from your profile that stands out to them. Again, add your qualifications. If you're going to add your resume, add your most versatile resume. Don't add a resume that you've really tailored down for one position. When you're adding your qualifications and your preferences, really your preferences, only add your must-haves here. You don't want to add everything on that list. We talked about must-haves and nice-to-haves because you don't want to rule out any opportunities and keep them from coming your way. You can also save jobs that interest you to go back and look at them later. Turn on notifications for specific jobs, for specific companies. And if, a job really stands out to you or you see a job that was posted and was now taken down, but that you really liked, you can still click on that job, and there will be three buttons in the top right-hand corner on Indeed where you can turn on notifications for similar jobs and become notified when something similar comes along. Keywords. So, job titles, this is another area where people get into trouble. They can really expand or limit your search. If you have a job title in mind, there are likely 2 to 3 other titles for the same exact job. For example, career counselor and career coach are interchangeable. Chief Human Resources Officer and Chief People and Culture Officer, those are interchangeable. It just depends on what that company calls the HR department. Um, oh, I do see one question. Is there any concern about spam when adding your phone number or your email to your profile? So again, I'm not using Indeed right now, but Indeed still has my phone number in my profile. I do get texts on occasion. ZipRecruiter is the worst one. So if you put your phone number into ZipRecruiter, you will get texts. I find that site pretty annoying. But usually LinkedIn and Indeed, those are the ones where you want your contact information there so you can be notified and so you hear about jobs. It's really up to you. You don't have to turn notifications on. You might be able to adjust your settings to where you can get notifications or messages in the app in Indeed or LinkedIn, so you don't have to add your phone number. But going back to keywords and job titles, yeah, do your research and compile a list of job titles that you can cycle through to make sure that you're doing a thorough search and not, again, ruling anything out. ChatGPT can also help with this. There is an entire ChatGPT section of this workshop that we'll get to very soon, and so we'll go through all of these prompts that you can use to help you out. What if you don't have a job title in mind? What if there are many job titles for the kind of work you want to do? What if you're more focused on the day-to-day tasks and the kinds of things you're going to be doing, things that cater to your skills and interests rather than obtaining a specific job title? You can also do a keyword search by task. So when I was job searching a couple years ago and I was searching for my current role, I am certified in the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment. And I was really interested in using this certification in a variety of contexts. I was even willing to branch into HR. So instead of searching by job title, I searched with the keyword Clifton Strengths. And that led me to a bunch of different jobs that I never would have thought about myself that I didn't even know existed. So that could be something to try as well. Using filters. The main thing I want you to take away here is to start only with your must-haves. And then if you see that you are getting so many different jobs that it's hard to kind of narrow down and filter through, then you can start using filters for your nice-to-haves and see where that leads you. You're really going to have to play around with it to see what's the most effective when using your filters. The top screenshot I have on the screen is from Indeed. The second one is LinkedIn. A lot of people stop on LinkedIn with, the keyword search, whether it's remote or in person, the date posted, the experience level, salary, company, and if LinkedIn has the easy apply option for that position, make sure you click on the all filters button because then an entire other screen will open on LinkedIn where you can look through all the filters that you can search for. You can search by industry, I think by mission and values. If someone knows better, then please correct me if I'm wrong. But there are so many different filters that I could not fit it all in this one slide on this in this workshop presentation. Another thing that I found really helpful and that I just learned recently, and that it sounds like the students who I've shared this with have also found it really helpful already, is doing I think it's pronounced Boolean search on LinkedIn. This is great for the searching by keywords and tasks that I just mentioned. Instead of going to the Jobs tab, where my cursor is on the screen here, that's where you would typically go for LinkedIn's job search section. Just go to the main search bar on LinkedIn the way you would normally search for profiles and people you're looking to connect with. And you can do a search where you put your job title in quotation marks and then put the word and and then again use quotation marks and put the word hiring. This is going to open you up to so many job opportunities that you might have never seen in a job search engine. What this is doing is it's pulling up every post that has the word research assistant and hiring in it on LinkedIn. And that means that these are the recruiters and hiring managers, or even people who just work at that company and are supporting HR and sharing an open position with their networks. You're going to see all of these posts by different people. We're hiring here, we're hiring there. If you want to get really specific with it and you're really focused on a specific location, you can do as many different words in quotation marks as you want. So in the one on the right, I did data analyst, hiring, and Nashville, just to see what jobs were available in Nashville. And this one came up where it said immediately hiring W-2 roles, data engineers, data architects, data analysts, data visualization specialists, and cloud data specialists. So if you have never done this before, if there's one takeaway from this session, I was just so mind blown by this feature, and I really hope that you just go check it out to see what comes up for you. Other tips when you're job searching, it's really important to keep track of everything that you've applied for. It's really hard. Well, it's really easy to forget application deadlines when you're applying to multiple jobs. And it's also really easy to forget which ones you've applied to and when a certain amount of time has passed, where you might want to follow up with the hiring manager to make sure that they receive their application and ask for a timeline when you can expect to hear from them about the opportunity to interview with them. And so I did not create these. One of my students created these spreadsheets. They use Notion. And so Notion, I think, has a built-in application tracker widget that you can just add. And my student who showed me this is an international student. And so on Notion, they added columns. Has this organization sponsored international students in the past? Do GW alumni work there? And then this person also is categorizing the jobs they're applying to by safe, medium, and high. So back, if when you applied for your undergraduate degree, maybe your high school guidance counselor told you there are different brackets. So you have a reach school, you have a safety school, you have a mid-level school. You can think about jobs that way too if you want. And this is the same thing. I just included it because this person said send updated resume and cover letter to Erin. So I was this person's accountability partner as they're searching for jobs. I also mentioned international students. One of the things that you're probably really thinking about is which employers might be able to sponsor my visa. There are two main websites that I give to international students for resources. The first one is the H-1B Employer Data Hub. This is on the federal government's website, but I wanted to give another website as another option. It's called myvisajobs.com, and they have very similar information. My Visa Jobs is just a private website. And so it ranks the top employers who are sponsoring visas, what the average salary was. There's so much more information that you can get from both of these websites that are not included here on the screen, but I did link both of those sites on the left here. And again, we'll be sharing the recording and this presentation afterwards, so you can click the links. Something else that I wanted to share is that GW is investing in a platform called InnerStride, and this is specifically going to be helpful to international students. It has a whole bunch of information about employers who have sponsored visas in the past. You can look up what the culture is like and what the job market is like in different countries. And so that's something to look out for, and you'll definitely hear about that from our Career Center very soon. Okay, so after all of that information, the next step is to finally apply, right? Not quite. We did talk briefly about tailoring your job search materials. I firmly believe that you should tailor your cover letter to each and every position. You should never apply for a job without submitting a cover letter. We talk at length about this in our cover letter workshop, which I'll also link, which I've linked in one of our later slides. With your resume, though, This is where people get really anxious and really overwhelmed thinking, do I really need to tailor my resume for every single job? That is impossible. That's so much work. I don't like using the term cut corners, but I will say it for this. You can cut corners and save yourself a lot of time by creating multiple versions of your resume for each category of jobs you're applying for. I'll continue on by using the example of if I were applying to a human resources job or a career counseling job. What I recommend is for each category of roles, I want you to find and save PDFs of 3 to 5 job descriptions for each of those kinds of roles that you're considering. So I'm going to save 3 to 5 job descriptions for human resources roles. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a highlighter if I printed them out, or I'm going to find a way to make a list on my laptop, and I'm going to make a list of common keywords, phrases, and required and preferred qualifications that show up across those 3 to 5 job descriptions for human resources roles. That way, I can highlight the common threads and tailor one version of my resume to all 3 to 5 of those jobs. And so I can create a document that's going to be okay no matter what job I apply to in that category. You are showcasing your most relevant experience for that category of roles on your resume. So my HR experience, I would put that first on my human resources resume. And I would have, the common keywords that I see in the job description. And I'm using that resume for all jobs in that role type. And then if there's a job that I'm really, really, really interested in, I'm going to take one last step and make minor adjustments when I apply for that specific job, but most of my work will have already been done for me at that point. Before we get into ChatGPT, what you all have probably been waiting for, I want to pause and ask if anyone has questions at this point. Okay. I don't see any raised hands. I don't see anything in the chat, so we will get into ChatGPT. So these are all prompts, and I do have some cautionary tales and words of warning, but we'll save that to the end. The first prompt and way that ChatGPT can help you is it can help you by generating keywords and phrases that you can use to tailor your job search materials. So a prompt you could use would be, what are some important keywords, phrases, and required or preferred qualifications I should highlight when tailoring my resume to this job description? And then you want to copy and paste the job description into ChatGPT. So here, when I did a sample of this, because I just double checked before I included anything in this presentation to make sure that it still works the way I wanted it to work, this isn't even all of the keywords and the qualifications ChatGPT gave me. It gave me more than 20 keywords that I could use to tailor my resume to a job, and it gave me at least 10 qualifications that it told me that I should highlight in my materials. So for this one, I like this prompt because it's not editing your bullet points. It's not giving you verbiage and language. It's just telling you some things that you should focus on. So it says, if you have experience with hybrid training environments, you should mention this. If you don't have experience in the financial industry, you should highlight your experience working in a member-focused or service-oriented environment. If you have experience with tools like Articulate and Captivate, highlight that in your resume. So I really appreciated that because not only does it give a list of things that I should highlight, it explains why. You can also use ChatGPT to provide information about the company and organization that you can use to tailor your materials. So in our cover letter workshop, I really, really hammer this point home that the first paragraph of that cover letter should be all about them. It should be all about why you want to work at that company, why you're in alignment with them. And so this can be really helpful with that. The prompt is, what are the mission, vision, and values of XYZ company? Based on data from Glassdoor and LinkedIn, what are some attributes of current XYZ company employees? So when I did this, I used a job at Penn Fed Credit Union. It came up with their mission, vision, and values on the left. And then on the right, I specifically used Glassdoor and LinkedIn when chatting with ChatGPT because I knew those were reliable sources of information. So It says current PenFed employees, as reported on Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and other sites, often highlight the following key attributes. And it came up with an entire list. Again, it's cut off on this slide. Now, ChatGPT, we don't always know where it's getting information from, and that is the biggest weakness of this platform. And so I believe if you pay for the next version of ChatGPT, I use the free one, that you can ask ChatGPT to indicate which job site and where it got each piece of information from. You're fact checking ChatGPT, which I really appreciate it because we want to make sure that when you're talking about the company's mission, vision, and values, you get that right in your cover letter, right? The next one is it can analyze your resume and whether your experience is a match for positions you're applying for. You could use the prompt, is my experience a match for this position based on my resume? And then you can copy and paste your resume and job description into ChatGPT. It won't say, yes, you're a match for this job. No, you're not. Instead, in summary, it said, your experience is a good match in many ways, particularly in terms of your research skills, teaching, and coaching experience. And then it'll say where you may want to consider addressing a few key areas. So facilitation experience, certifications, and learning program design. That was not something that was on the sample resume that I added into ChatGPT. And so it says, if you have had experience leading workshops, highlight this to match the requirements. And the key word is if you've had these experiences. ChatGPT has a track record of adding false information, specifically false numbers and percentages to resume bullet points. And it is your job and your responsibility to make sure that anything you're adding is true. So I'll leave that there. Number 4, ChatGPT can identify similar job titles, like I shared before, that could expand your search, leading you to positions of interest. So you can use the prompt, what are some job titles that are similar to XYZ and would result in similar positions as I conduct my job search? So again, going with the HR example, I know that one job title in HR is Learning and Development Manager. So I said, what job titles are similar to that? And it gave me, again, way more than 3, but it also, again, gives a description. For the talent development manager, it says similar to learning development, but often with a stronger emphasis on XYZ. And so it'll tell you how your search results might be different if you use a different job title. Okay. Someone said this ChatGPT agent I found can auto scrape job postings from major sites based on your resume goals, other filters. That's great. Yeah, if ChatGPT can help you get job postings that are the right fit for you, and you know how to do that, definitely, definitely do that. I would worry that ChatGPT wouldn't do as thorough of a search as you might on your own. So if you're searching for companies that, again, are aligned with what you want in company culture, your mission and values, that is going to take a lot more work on your end to find companies that are truly aligned, looking at what current employees are saying on Glassdoor, on LinkedIn, all of that. But if you're just looking for a place to start your job search, using ChatGPT could be amazing for showing you current job postings in your field. Okay. ChatGPT can also provide editing suggestions for creating more impactful job search documents, resumes, and cover letters. And then I have be careful, and we'll talk about why in a second. But all of these prompts can be used to enhance your resume bullet points. Again, you'll receive the slides, so you don't feel like you have to write all of these prompts down. The first one is edit my resume bullet points to follow the SAR method, situation, action, and result. Ensure my bullet points are free of grammatical errors and use the correct tense based on when my experiences occurred. And then you're going to insert your resume. So in all of these, you'll see that I'm very, very specific because as a career counselor, I know what I'm looking for. I want my bullet points to follow the situation, action, and result method. And again, if you're interested in learning more about that, we have other resume workshops that are linked later. In the second one, I said, tailor my bullet points to this job description while keeping the integrity of my current bullet points. Do not add new skills and or experience to my bullet points that are not already stated on my resume. If you add in that sentence, that is going to limit the amount of proofreading that you have to do, making sure that it's not adding false information to your bullet points. The third prompt, highlight parts of my resume bullet points where quantitative information could make my bullet points more impactful. So this is just pointing out areas where you could add numbers, but it's not adding fake numbers that are not already a part of your current bullet points. For cover letters, reorganize my cover letter to communicate my current points in 3 parts: why I'm interested in the company, why I'm the best candidate, and why myself and the company would work well together. And then the final prompt, rewrite my cover letter 3 different ways to give me ideas for how I might edit my current cover letter to be more concise, impactful, free of grammatical errors, and tailored to the position I'm applying for. I like that one because it's giving you options. On the next slide, which I'll go to the next slide now, one of my points here is you don't want to copy and paste directly from the platform because some ATS systems may be able to detect when you've done this and could flag your application. So I don't know if all ATS systems are doing this, but you just have to be careful. Um, so if ChatGPT is giving you 3 different versions of how your revised cover letter might look, you're picking and choosing what is something that makes your cover letter sound better, more professional, more clear and concise, but is also something that sounds like something you would say, and is still keeping your voice and the integrity of your cover letter and your resume bullet points. So this is my word of warning, and now it's time for my cautionary tales. ATS systems and hiring managers have learned to identify Gen AI usage and especially ChatGPT, because that's the most popular one. You do not want to make the following mistakes. I already shared that some of them are completely filtering out applications where it can detect ChatGPT was used. You also do not want to use the action verbs streamlined or spearheaded. ChatGPT uses these words all the time in resume bullet points. Hiring managers flag these resumes. And now I've trained myself to look out in my students when I'm reviewing their resumes where some of these commonly used words and verbiage is used. Um, and so it's easy for me to tell. I'm just highlighting those 2 words because those are the 2 most common ones that I see ChatGPT uses. But please meet with me or another career counselor so we can just make sure that it doesn't look like a ChatGPT document that you're submitting. Second one, don't use vague language. So Dr. Ruffner Caesar in our last resume presentation said, don't use the phrase results-driven professional in your professional summary because that is so overused and you better be able to back up everything you say on your resume in an interview, right? ChatGPT uses a ton of vague language that sounds really good, but it doesn't always provide evidence because that's your job to provide evidence with what you've actually done in your position. And so it uses these vague phrases even more when it doesn't have enough information about your experience. Don't use false percentages and numbers that ChatGPT might add to your bullet points. ChatGPT often adds percentages instead of numbers when it's editing your bullet points. I think it's trying to show that you should use a number or some type of quantitative data in that area. But if you're saying that you are a marketing manager and you increase traffic to your website by 70%, you better be able to back that up in an interview. Again, don't copy and paste from the platform. Um, and do pick and choose which suggestions you decide to keep based on your own judgment. So again, I really like that prompt where it's saying rewrite my cover letter in 3 different ways. So you can see what works, which kind of writing style sounds most authentic to you, and which ones you want to keep. But you should not keep everything that ChatGPT returns. Your documents should largely be your own work and an accurate representation of who you are and your voice and how you would naturally speak and sound. Okay. So I've mentioned several different workshops that we have delivered throughout this meeting today. We go into detail about how to tailor your materials to each position in our resume and our cover letter workshops. So you'll see that we have a cover letter is like a love letter. That workshop is on Wednesday next week at 5 p.m. We also have a Revolutionary Resume Back to Basics and Revolutionary Resume Next Level recordings. So if you'd like to watch those recordings, please email us and we will send them to you. But again, you'll get these slides in an email after the fact, and so you'll be able to click those links. Our Career Services open house is on Thursday, February 13th. We're also handing out Valentine's Day cookies that day. This is in person in Smith Hall, room 118 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is a chance for you to meet me and Dr. Ruffner Caesar in person and ask us any career-related question. So please utilize that, and we would love to meet you in person. So that is our presentation today. We covered ChatGPT prompts, how to job search, tips for identifying what your unique job search goals are and what matters to you as you go through your job search. Um, Again, I really hope this was helpful and this is a new presentation. So we would love feedback on whether this presentation was helpful. Was something missing? What did you really like? If anyone would like to share that now, you can feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand. And I also want to open it up to questions with the time that we have left. And I'll stay on after 1 p.m. because I know we covered a lot today. So feel free to ask any questions that you have. Okay. Whoops, hold on. Can folks still see me? Something's going on with my Zoom.
We can see you, Erin.
You can see me. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I can't see any of you at the moment, so I need to change my view. But I do see the chats coming through. Johnette, would you be able to read out the chats? There's something going on.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
So the first question Roshni asked, would you consider doing a session on DeepSeek?
DeepSeek. I've never heard of DeepSeek. So I would love to do a session on that once I am educated on what that is. If you would like to share or email me on what DeepSeek is, please put that in the chat.
Great. What is the best message to reach out to a school alum who works at a company you're applying for?
Mhm. So we actually offer scripts in our Working Your Network presentation, where we talk all about how to message alum who you might find through LinkedIn or Career Connect. And there we have some scripts there that might give you ideas. But if they work at a company that you're interested in, the best way to reach out to someone is to request an informational interview. You want to say, "Hi, my name is so and so. I'm a current GW graduate student, and I'm really interested in careers in XYZ. I came across your profile on either LinkedIn or Career Connect and was really interested in your path and would love to learn what it's like to work at your company. Are you available for a 15-minute phone or Zoom call at your convenience?"
Great. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Okay, so we have some additional information about DeepSeek. So thank you so much, um, Robert. That is very, very helpful. I do believe I saw a raised hand from someone who wanted to unmute and ask a question. If that is the case, please feel free to do so. Okay. And thank you all for the supportive comments you're making in the chat. Aaron, folks are saying that the information was very helpful. Um, Marcus, where can we find the presentation with the scripts?
Yes, so that is the Working Your Network presentation. And so I'll include that in my follow-up email and link that presentation.
Yes. Anyone else? Any final thoughts, questions, comments? Robert, thank you. Folks are saying thank you, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, my screen is still frozen, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Okay, I
All right.
have a question. Yes, Erin, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can
Yes.
hear you.
It's okay. My name is Aygul. I'm a master's degree program student at GAW, School of Business, yes, in Human Resource Management. So
Okay.
recently we had a course, Professional Communication, and we discussed this topic. So it was really very interesting. So it means that using ChatGPT, for example, can I put some special companies, for example, Google or International Monetary Fund or World Bank as a banker? Can
Mhm.
I just put especially these companies and search a job for me? It's interesting.
Yeah. So someone put in the chat earlier that it sounds like you can use a ChatGPT assistant of some kind to see what jobs are available in your specific industry. It sounds like you could probably do that for a specific company too. But again, I would encourage you to go to that company's website because you want to apply on that company's website anyway. And so all of the current opportunities would be available on the company website.
Great, got it. But your lecture was amazing. I really
Um,
just write a lot, yes, wrote a lot. So thank you very much. In any case, I will use your tips. And
Okay,
in case of any question, I will definitely find you. Thank you very
awesome.
much.
Thank
Thank
you much. Thank you so much. We appreciate that feedback. Great.
you. Good.
Aaron, an additional question from
Mhm.
Eliza. Am I able to sign up for an advising appointment as a Trachtenberg student, or can I only do so with our specific career advisor?
Yeah, so you as a Trachtenberg student would meet with either Denise Fowler or Melissa Foyer, I believe is her last name. So those are your two designated career counselors. We do, those are your career counselors, but we recommend that you meet with them because they are specialists in helping Trachtenberg students, whereas Johnette and I are generalists and we help all students in the Columbian College.
Yeah. And Eliza, I see that you put here they're very overwhelmed at the moment. Um, we understand that and we're always available to be supportive, but start first with them. At least try to have a conversation with them or send an email and just say that you participated in this session and you've been maybe trying to get an appointment. Would they have any challenges with you meeting with us? But our recommendation is always to connect with them first. You're welcome. And that concludes the feedback and the questions, Aaron.
Okay, great. Well, I wish I could see all of your lovely faces, but we are so appreciative that you attended this workshop. So happy that you found it helpful. And again, please be on the lookout for an email from us with the recording, the slides, and please visit us in person on Thursday next week. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day and your week.